Okay, now I'd like to call up the immediate past president of the Federation, Sheila Greenbaum.
Good evening. We've now reached the portion of our evening that I know everyone finds most engaging, the actual annual meeting. Tonight I have the honor for the last time of conducting these illustrious proceedings. Next year, Sandy Newman, it will be all yours. We know this can be a bit confusing, so you may choose to zone out or to really focus. This actually consists of 3 separate meetings. A meeting of the Federation members, that's donors of $30 or more, to elect at-large trustees. A meeting of the trustees to elect at-large directors. And finally, a meeting of the board of directors to elect officers. You will find the names of all the nominees in tonight's program. Those who are to be elected tonight are designated with an asterisk. We first say thank you to all those who end their terms tonight as directors and trustees. We are grateful for their leadership and dedication to Federation, our agencies, and our overall Jewish community. Each of them will receive a token of our appreciation, a copy of the book Winter Harvest, a collection of Jewish writing in St. Louis. Thank you again for your service. Our meetings and elections are now concluded, and all trustees, directors, and officers are duly installed. Would all of those elected this evening please stand and accept our thanks for what's to come? Congratulations to each of you, and thank you. In closing that procedure, I would like to personally thank the members of the Board Development and Nominating Committee for their work in this vital process, and they really worked long and hard, and I'm very appreciative. It is now my honor to introduce our newly elected Jewish Federation Board Chair, Bob Millstone. Bob, walk slowly. I have some nice things to say about you. Bob takes the reins at a pivotal point in Jewish Federation's 110-year history as he leads us to a thriving future, carrying on a family legacy of leadership. Tonight, we meet on the campus that bears his family name. Tonight, we know his grandfather, the late I.E. Millstone, was one of the most influential and respected Jewish leaders in St. Louis and our Federation's only honorary president. However, Bob has distinguished himself on his own terms. He has served in a succession of key roles that have prepared him for this job, including chair of planning and allocations and chair of campaign that you've heard about. He has had key roles in our strategic planning process, both times around, and currently heads the Executive Search Committee. He has had extensive national and international exposure and has made frequent visits to Israel. In addition to his deep involvement in Jewish affairs, Bob's civic involvements include the board of the Barnes Jewish Hospital Foundation, Regional Business Council, and National Council of the Washington University School of Law. He is treasurer of Good Government for Missouri and president of the Millstone Foundation. Those who know Bob are impressed by his intellect, incisive analysis, and warmth. He is an individual of impeccable integrity, and I am proud to call him a good friend. Please join me in welcoming again and congratulating Bob as he makes his way to the speaking podium.
thank you very much. I think about your really kind and generous words, and Sandy's as well, and Rabbi Susan Talby. I couldn't think of three people I respect more, and I'd be more honored to introduce me tonight than to hear those kind and generous words. So thank you very much. I'd like to give also special thanks to my wife, Colleen, for her guidance, wisdom, and support, for the time that I spend away from our family and my business. Sometimes I get so distracted at home that I forget how to walk downstairs. I'm humbled and I'm nervous. More than anything else, though, I'm excited and I'm energized by the overwhelming support we have received for our strategic plan, for the great professional and volunteer leadership teams we have, and the generous support we receive across the entire community. I want to give special thanks to Sandy Newman, also for his decades of outstanding leadership, especially as Federation President these last 2 years. During Sandy's tenure, we have adopted a new strategic plan, as you've heard. We've begun a search for a new executive, and as I will describe and Sandy has described, provided significant help to our Jewish day schools. Sandy has had an incredibly productive and successful term. Additionally, I've had the privilege of working with Barry Rosenberg on our board for the last 8 years and look forward to continuing to do so for the next 2 as Barry concludes 20 years of service to our community. I want to make sure that we acknowledge his dedication to our community as well as the dedication of the rest of our professional staff. I have seen firsthand the hard work and long hours our staff works and the exceptional service that they provide. Our community is filled with passionate and talented volunteer leaders, generous contributors, skilled, inspiring, visionary rabbis, professionals, and educators. We need to take advantage of the knowledge, skill, ideas, and energy of all these people. The new Federation will break down the barriers and be a place for the entire Jewish community to work together and for individuals to connect in ways that are meaningful to them. As we move forward, we need to respond to the dynamic changes in demography, sociology, and culture of our community. We will do so, though, on a solid 110-year history of achievement and wisdom and knowledge and support of a great many people. It will soon be Rosh Hashanah, and let me be the first or one of the first to wish you a happy, healthy, and sweet new year. This is a season of renewal, a time for assessing our performance, measuring against our vision, and taking corrective action. At the Federation, we're also in a period of renewal. We have assessed our performance, we are designing changes, and we are taking corrective action. We're adapting to the new needs and wishes of our supporters and the people we serve. We're creating new measurements to better assess our performance. The next 2 years are vitally important. We will be building the foundation for a new way of doing business. The early stages of any building project are the most trying. You need to work through the approval process, dig up dirt, and pour a foundation. During this stage, all you see is a mess. You can't see the new building or enjoy your new home. You need to look beyond the mess and maintain confidence in your plan and vision. You need to trust the craftspeople who are doing the work. Today, we are laying the foundation to deliver on our promise of building and enhancing our community so that we can all thrive together. We defined and envisioned a plan for a thriving Jewish community through an extensive and far-reaching community input process. If I can get it out. I encourage you to read our plan. It sets forth 6 major priorities. Our strategic plan affirms our commitment to serve the most vulnerable and work for the security of Israel and Jews worldwide. We will intensify and expand our efforts to serve young adults and young families with children and provide the programs and service that inspire future generations to find meaning and connection to Jewish life. We will make sure the precious resources we are given are used in the most effective and efficient manner, and we will provide the encouragement and training to support to make sure that we get the best out of our exceptional volunteer leaders and professionals. Please note, this does not mean the Federation intends to directly provide these services. Rather, we intend to expand the opportunities for our agencies, congregations, and other institutions to receive funding for programs consistent with our strategic priorities. When you build a new home, you update the systems to the latest standards. During our planning process, we visited other communities, reviewed best practices, and undertook an examination of how to align our resources and operations with our priorities. Last month, we adopted a new planning and allocation process that Sandy discussed. We intend to increase the amount of funds available to align those funds with our strategic priority, while at the same time providing greater stability and certainty for our funding to our beneficiary agencies. We are now in the process of looking at how we raise money. As with our beneficiary agencies, core, unrestricted donations are the lifeblood of our community. Without a strong, vibrant annual campaign, we cannot provide the infrastructure and support to keep on our lights, provide our planning functions, or meet new unexpected needs. We'll also be creating new opportunities for our donors to designate funds for programs for which they feel most passionate. We're bringing in new people to leadership positions. As you've heard, over the next few years, we'll be increasing the pathways and opportunities for a younger generation of volunteer leaders. And we're in the process of recruiting the next president and CEO of the Federation, our chief professional leader, who we hope to have on board by year end. Some people fear we are moving too fast. Others cannot see the changes and say we're moving too slow. I want to assure you that we will be pushing forward to make well-considered but rapid changes to implement the priorities that you told us are important and for which are detailed in our strategic plan. We are testing or inspecting each piece as we go. When you build a new home, when we finish building our new home, it'll have an open and inviting floor plan. It'll be accessible, transparent, functional, efficient, and exciting. You'll be able to connect in person or virtually through the support of the newest technology or innovative programs that connect people in ways that work best for them. These steps will form the foundation of a renewed or revitalized federation. Over the next 2 years, as we do the hard work to lay this foundation, I ask that you not lose sight of the vision and our ultimate goals. Progress may not always be apparent, but it will be occurring and it will soon be visible. As you may have read last week in the St. Louis Jewish Light, the Sal Merowitz Day School, Reformed Jewish Academy, and Solomon Schechter Day School have announced their intention to merge. Currently, the two schools are conducting due diligence and planning before deciding on final merger plan. This is both enormously momentous and exciting and extremely challenging undertaking. I want to commend the professional volunteer leadership of both schools for their hard work, innovative spirit, and forward thinking. In combining, they will enhance their ability to provide the highest quality Jewish education for more children far into the future. The Federation's role in this process illustrates how we see ourselves functioning. The starting point is our broad vision for the community and our strategic plan. Whether or not each of us chooses a day school education for our children, we believe that a diverse network of high-quality, sustainable Jewish day schools is important to the many people in our community and for families in deciding whether they want to move to our community. 3 years ago, the Federation formed a task force comprised of an outstanding group of community leaders to take a fresh look at how the Federation could help our Jewish day schools. Using a nationally prominent expert, we convened the day schools to examine the current situation, identify best practices from around North America, and make recommendations to the schools. While we felt it was important to share our recommendations with the schools, it is not our role to define or dictate decisions to other organizations. Rather, we support it, finance, and help facilitate discussions with and between the schools. We firmly believe that we could help the schools by bringing in resources and expertise they did not have, but only the schools could decide what was the best way to fulfill their mission. We also believe that where organizations take courageous, innovative steps to follow best practices in ways that are consistent with our strategic plan, we need to help those organizations. If the schools move forward with their plan to merge, we will fund into the merger. We will assist with the cost of due diligence and integration. We will work with the schools on a capital campaign to ensure they have the resources to deliver on their promise of excellence. We will also help market the new school to the community. When the Day School Task Force started their work, many people asked whether we should take on such a role. We did so because we believed that is what the community needed from us, where we can act as a convener, identify best practices, champion innovation, forge cooperation, and mobilize resources to strengthen our institution's ability to fulfill their mission. We need to do so. We can't shy away from the task because it's difficult or risky. It's our intention to play similar roles as we address the multitude of issues facing our community. We will do so in ways that work cooperatively with institutions, respects their independence, and enhances their ability to provide excellent services. I would like to conclude on a personal note. I've always been motivated by a sense of responsibility to perform community service, helping to repair the world. I began my involvement in the Jewish community a little later in life. Through the example of my grandparents, support of my wife, and the opportunities afforded me by a number of our community leaders, many of whom are here tonight, I found my way deep into Jewish community affairs. I must admit, though, I always thought I was doing it for others, for those less fortunate, for our children, for our elderly, for Israel. When my grandfather died, the outpouring of love, support, and consolation showed me that the work we do is not just for someone else, it's for each of us as well. Each of us deserves the type of warm, yes, thriving Jewish community that I experience. We do this for others, we do it for ourselves. Please join me as we work together to build a thriving Jewish community for all of us, for our children, and for future generations.
Congratulations, Bob. Thanks for the kind words. I certainly look forward to working with you, and I'm sure it's going to be a great and momentous year. We have enormous respect and confidence in your leadership. You know, in Bob's remarks, he really, I think, talked about his determination to see us move forward on the path that we've set forth in this strategic plan. And if you need any indication of this man's determination, you need to acknowledge the fact that he's here tonight having had surgery on his hand this morning. That kind of drive, that kind of dedication is the kind of thing that's going to move us forward as a community. And I knew he wouldn't say anything, so I did. The other thing I'll say about this is when, and just as a recollection, when Nancy Seawalk was the president, we would go to national meetings and we would walk in rooms, and if you know Nancy, she would, you know, and everybody would run up to her and they would talk to her and they would smile at her, and I'd be sort of standing in the back, and people would say, "Who is that?" And I'd say, "I'm the guy who carries the bags." With Bob, I may have to. I want to thank all of you for attending and everyone who made this evening possible. On your way out, you're going to receive a handy flash drive with our donor listings and links to the full annual report on jewishinstlouis.org. But before closing, we should pause for a moment and reflect on the situation Israel faces today. Increasingly isolated, the subject of a hostile delegitimization campaign, physically threatened by Iran and the growing arsenals of Hamas and Hezbollah, and living in a very much changed and unstable region. In a few days, the Palestinians will request United Nations recognition as an independent Palestinian state. And while this will change nothing on the ground, unfortunately, it will intensify the pressures against Israel. Most of us feel very worried and frustrated. There's really not much we can do to impact this situation. Yet despite our diverse opinions about Israeli policy, we are united in our concern for the people and for Israel's future. So please, keep Israel in your thoughts and prayers. Reach out to your family and friends who live there and offer a little emotional comfort. Raise your voices locally to rally support. And join me in closing in a prayer for peace. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Thank you, good night, Shana Tova.